If you do not kill the voice of doubt within you, it will kill every dream you dare to imagine. It will talk you out of greatness, paralyze your plans, and bury your purpose beneath hesitation. That voice is not your friend, it is your captor. But if you listen to this message and obey the laws I shall give you, you will rise. You will become a man of certainty, of boldness, of results. You will no longer ask permission to succeed, you will command it. Listen now, or remain a slave to the voice that has lied to you all your life. If you hear a voice in your mind telling you you're not good enough, understand this. That voice is not you. It is your master, unless you kill it. That voice was not born in your soul. It was planted by design, cultivated by repetition, and kept alive by your obedience. It does not serve your growth. It feeds on your hesitation. Every time you believe its whispers, you give away another inch of your dominion over life. Doubt is not a weakness. It is a strategy. It is the silent instrument by which most men are conquered long before they ever step onto the battlefield of endeavor. It is not random nor innocent. It has been placed there with care, seeded by those who do not wish you to rise, and watered by your submission to fear, uncertainty, and vague thinking. Doubt is the most profitable form of mental slavery in existence, because the enslaved do not know they are in chains. There is a courtroom within the mind of every man. In it, every idea is brought before an invisible judge before it can take root in reality. The tragedy is this. For most, the judge has already been bought. He serves fear, not truth. He sides with criticism, not courage. He throws out bold visions with ridicule and slams the gavel in favor of safe decisions and small thinking. That courtroom does not deliver justice. It delivers paralysis. You were not born this way. The newborn child does not doubt its right to cry, to walk, to speak. It demands. It persists. It learns through action. It does not ask permission to become. But somewhere along the way, the world began to teach you to hold back. You were trained to hesitate. You were taught to second-guess your voice, to consult others before trusting your instinct, to fear mistakes more than you feared stagnation. That was no accident. In outwitting the devil, I revealed the devil's greatest weapon over mankind, drifting. It is the state of mind where one thinks without purpose, acts without plan, and follows without question. The drifter is ruled by circumstances, by gossip, by doubt disguised as logic. He imagines he is free, but every decision is filtered through fear, especially the fear of poverty, the fear of criticism, the fear of loss. These fears are the guards at the gates of self-mastery. The devil needs no chains, no cells, no violence to control you. All he needs is a whisper in your mind saying, "What if it doesn't work?" All he needs is a pause where there should have been a decision, a delay where there should have been action, a question where there should have been faith. And once that pause becomes a pattern, you begin to drift. You begin to wait. You begin to accept smaller and smaller outcomes while convincing yourself it's wise. The real tragedy is not the voice itself. The real tragedy is that you have believed it for so long, you call it your own. You say, "I'm not ready," or "I don't know if I can," or "What will they think?" as though these thoughts were born in you. But they are not yours. They are the echoes of your programming, repeated so often that they now speak with your tone. The voice of doubt is a mimic. It copies your cadence to conceal its intent. The first step toward freedom is to catch the voice in the act, observe it, then attack it. When it tells you you're not qualified, you must answer, "I am qualified to begin, and I grow more capable with every step I take." When it says you might fail, you reply, "Every failure is my instructor, and I do not stop." When it says they'll laugh at you, you answer, "Let them watch me succeed." You must meet lies with truth and repeat the truth until it becomes louder. Do you not see? The man who doubts himself has already surrendered. He cannot begin, for he has already ended. No army is needed to defeat him. He has forfeited the battle before it began. But the man who knows his thoughts, who watches his mind and governs it with decision and desire, that man is dangerous. That man is alive. That man is free. You must become that man. You must choose to see doubt not as a sign to stop, but as a signal to begin. For every great creator, every captain of industry, every inventor, every leader has heard that same voice, but they chose to question it. They chose to ignore it. They chose to outthink it, outdecide it, and outlast it. That is how men become great, not by never hearing doubt, but by refusing to kneel to it. When I interviewed Thomas Edison, I found a man who had failed more times than most men ever attempt, but he did not call failure his master. He called it feedback. When others laughed, he took notes. When others quit, he redoubled his effort. He did not wait for confidence to begin. He began, and confidence followed. That is the pattern. Begin before you feel ready, and readiness will be built in the doing. The same principle applied to Henry Ford. When told his idea for a gasoline engine carriage was foolish, when mechanics swore a V8 engine was impossible, Ford made one statement: build it anyway. He did not argue. He did not doubt. He decided, and the engineers, forced by his will, found a way. Faith is power, but decision is the switch that turns it on. You must now make a decision. The voice of doubt may speak again, perhaps even as you hear these words, but you must not let it speak last. It will say you are not ready. You must say, I begin anyway. It will say, this won't work for me. You must say, I will make it work. You must override every hesitation with definiteness, every lie with affirmation, every fear with thought guided by purpose. Say these words aloud with power and make them your daily code. I'm the type of person who has a definite purpose. I'm the type of person who acts in spite of doubt. I'm the type of person who finishes what he starts. I'm the type of person who commands belief through repetition. I'm the type of person who decides quickly and moves boldly. These are not merely words, they are identity. Each one is a mental hammer used to crush the stones of hesitation until your path becomes clear. Speak them daily, and you shall reprogram the voice within. Now the question remains, will you listen to the voice of doubt that enslaved you? Or will you listen to the one voice that can free you, your own? The choice is now. The mind obeys whoever speaks with the most certainty, be that voice. You were not born with doubt in your mind. You did not come into this world asking if you were good enough. You did not hesitate to cry when you were hungry, nor did you question your right to stand, to walk, to explore. You did not compare yourself to others, nor did you wonder what the world might think of your ambition. You were bold, instinctual, and persistent. That was your natural state before the world taught you to be small. But soon, the voices of authority began to speak, not from within, but from without. Sit still, they said. Don't speak unless spoken to. That's not realistic. Stop dreaming so big. And with each word, a seed of doubt was planted. The teacher who marked your imagination as error. The parent who punished your attempt instead of praising your initiative. The peer who laughed when you were different. The institution that demanded you conform before you could create. These were the first blows to your inner power. It begins innocently. One moment of embarrassment, one harsh correction, one ridicule too many. A young mind begins to withdraw, begins to edit itself before it speaks, begins to wonder if maybe it's better to not try at all. And thus, the voice of doubt is born. It is not the voice of reason. It is not your guardian. It is your captor, wearing the face of those who once scolded you into silence. You see, a single moment of fear may pass, but repetition creates rhythm. This is the law of hypnotic rhythm. Every thought you repeat, every emotional reaction you allow without challenge, becomes easier to reproduce the next time. Eventually, you no longer have to be told to hesitate. You do it instinctively. You no longer need someone else to silence your imagination. You silence it yourself. This is how men become drifters, not by accident, but by repetition. Once the rhythm is formed, the mind continues to obey it until a new rhythm is imposed through conscious effort. This is why most men live out the same year of hesitation 60 times and call it a life. They wonder why they remain where they are, not knowing that the rhythm of their doubt has become stronger than the pull of their desire. It is not will they lack, it is awareness. I have named 6 great fears, the 6 ghosts that haunt the minds of men. These are the fear of poverty, the fear of criticism, the fear of ill health, the fear of loss of love, the fear of old age, and the fear of death. But the most destructive of all is the fear of criticism. It is this ghost that first teaches a man to suppress his instinct, to distrust his imagination, to become cautious where he should have been courageous. Criticism strikes at the root of faith before it ever has a chance to grow. One cruel word from a figure of authority, one laugh from a group of peers, one public embarrassment, these can scar the mind deeper than failure ever could, for failure teaches. But criticism, when internalized, paralyzes. It causes the child to question the very worth of his desires. It trains the young man to censor himself. It convinces the aspiring soul to never begin. Yet the tragedy is deeper still, for doubt often disguises itself in fine clothing. It wears the garb of logic. It speaks with the voice of being realistic. It praises caution as wisdom, when in truth it is fear wearing a false crown. It tells you to wait until you're ready, though readiness is only ever earned through action. It whispers that others will laugh, and in doing so, it murders your dream before you give it breath. You must understand this. What most call wisdom is, in fact, well-practiced fear. The world has become expert at justifying its smallness. The masses walk in chains and call it maturity. They mock the bold man because his courage offends their excuses. And rather than grow, they scoff. Rather than act, they analyze. Rather than risk, they retreat. This is not wisdom. This is cowardice with credentials. But the men who shaped history did not listen to such voices. Lincoln faced public failure after failure, defeated in elections, ridiculed in appearance, crushed by personal loss. Yet he pressed on, holding to one thought: the preservation of purpose, the union of a divided nation. He was not great because he was untouched by criticism, but because he refused to let that criticism write his conclusion. Edison was mocked, dismissed, told his inventions were folly. Yet he failed forward. 10,000 failed attempts to birth the electric light. He did not interpret those failures as a verdict against his worth. He saw them as steps in the right direction, and so the light was born, not from genius alone, but from a faith that refused to die under the weight of other men's opinions. Do you understand now why I say the man who doubts himself has already surrendered? He does not need an enemy to defeat him. His battle is over before it begins, because he has placed the crown on the voice of fear and called it truth. He has made the liar a king, and now wonders why he lives like a servant. But you must not be that man. You must trace the voice back to its origin and see it for what it is, an echo of a moment that should have been discarded, not obeyed. You must see that every doubt you entertain strengthens the rhythm of defeat, while every act of faith, no matter how small, begins a new rhythm, one that leads to power. You were born to command. You were not placed on this earth to tiptoe. You were born with faculties no beast possesses: imagination, decision, will. These were given to you so you could create, not cower. Every time you hesitate, you deny your birthright. Every time you choose comfort over calling, you abandon the throne of your own mind. Begin today with this affirmation. Speak it aloud and speak it often. Make it the cornerstone of your mental fortress. I was born with the power to think, to decide, and to become. Say it when the voice of doubt rises. Say it when the crowd mocks. Say it when fear begins to whisper again. And as you repeat it, you shall feel your old rhythm begin to break. The spell will weaken, the fog will lift, and the man who is always waiting inside you will step forward and speak. Doubt did not belong to you. It was handed to you, and you took it. Now you must hand it back. You must return it to the darkness and choose once and for all to walk in the direction of faith. The voice will scream, but you will not listen. You will move anyway. You will act, and in the doing you will remember who you are. Doubt is not your voice. It never was. It is a foreign intruder, a mental mimic, a cunning parasite that has studied your tone, learned your rhythm, and stolen your language. It now speaks with your accent, so convincingly that you accept its message without resistance. But I tell you now, what speaks to you in hesitation, in fear, in retreat, is not you. It is a voice implanted by repetition and kept alive by your agreement. This is the core truth you must accept with burning clarity. Doubt is a lie you have believed so often, you now mistake it for wisdom. It is not your natural instinct. It is not your guardian. It is the thief of your power. It lives only because you feed it. And each time you obey it, it grows bolder. Like a pickpocket, it works quietly. Like a traitor, it speaks from within your gates. And like a parasite, it dies the moment you stop nourishing it. How does it work? It begins in subtlety. You imagine an idea, a goal, a decision. And before you can take your first step, the internal thief whispers, "But what if it fails? What will they say? You've never done this before." And like a man caught between two horses, you begin to pull in opposite directions. That is the beginning of self-paralysis, when your own will is divided against itself. This inner hesitation, this habit of second-guessing and shrinking from action, is not born of intelligence. It is born of repetition. You have practiced doubt more than you have practiced belief. You have rehearsed fear again and again with such dedication that your subconscious has accepted it as your default identity. And the subconscious mind, once given a rhythm, will continue to play it until a new one is installed. That is the tragedy of most lives. They are not destroyed by catastrophe, but by chronic hesitation. The man who overthinks everything will act on nothing. The man who debates within himself becomes his own enemy. I have said it before, and I say it now. The man who doubts himself has already surrendered. The world need not stop him. He stops himself. Understand this principle, for it is absolute. What is repeated with emotion becomes installed as belief. Your subconscious mind does not filter for truth. It does not ask, "Is this useful?" It only records what is spoken, what is felt, and what is endured with intensity. So if you repeat doubt with emotion, if you rehearse fear, hesitation, and defeat, your mind will accept it and recreate it. That is not punishment. That is law. But the same law works in your favor if you apply it. Faith and doubt are both formed by repetition. One enslaves, the other empowers. One is the result of drift, the other of decision. You have the ability right now to reverse the rhythm. You can begin this very hour to plant new thoughts backed by your will, your voice, and your burning desire. And if you do not faint, those new thoughts will take root and build you anew. Let us look again at Thomas Edison, a man who failed over 10,000 times in pursuit of the electric light. Yet never once did he let failure speak louder than desire. He did not allow the past to dictate the present. He did not borrow fear from others. He did not say, "Maybe this is a sign number." He said, "I have not failed. I have found 10,000 ways that do not work." And that statement is not only resilience, it is mastery of the inner voice. Do you think Edison had no doubts? Of course they appeared. But he chose to answer them. He chose to speak louder. He chose to command his mind, not consult it for permission. And most of all, he cultivated belief. Not belief by hope, but belief by decision. He repeated his goal, he imagined the outcome, and he devoted every waking hour to its realization. That is how belief is formed, through repetition, control of attention, and definite action. Attention is your greatest tool in this war. Where attention goes, energy flows. If you attend to the voice of doubt, it grows stronger. If you shift attention to your purpose, your vision, your decision, then doubt weakens by starvation. You must learn to catch your attention drifting and yank it back with force. This is not a passive exercise. It is the daily battle of the mind. You must win it every morning. You must win it every hour. You are not the thoughts you think. You are the one who chooses which thoughts to keep. You are the gatekeeper, and if the voice of doubt has been allowed to roam freely, it is because you forgot you had a gate at all. But now you know, and once you know, the choice is yours. You can allow the mimic to continue pretending to be you, or you can evict it with every fiber of your will. You may ask, but how do I believe when I feel weak? The answer is not to feel differently, but to speak differently. Speak belief, and your feelings will follow. Speak strength, and it will awaken. Speak faith, not because it is easy, but because it is commanded. Faith is not a mood. It is not a floating sensation. Faith is command over thought. It is the refusal to think any thought that weakens your purpose. Remember, the subconscious cannot reject what you repeat with emotion. So choose what you repeat. Say aloud what you desire to become. Say it boldly. Say it daily. Say it when you feel it least, for that is when it is most powerful. Your new identity is built one repetition at a time. Say this now. Every time I repeat belief, I grow stronger. Every time I obey doubt, I grow weaker. I choose to believe in my purpose with the full power of my will. Repeat it, print it, post it where your eyes must see it each day, for the voice that dominates your attention becomes your reality. If you do not install your own belief, the world will install its fear. Now let us draw a contrast. The man of doubt wakes with questions. The man of faith wakes with commands. The doubter says, "Can I do this?" The man of faith says, "This is what I will do today." The doubter looks around and waits for signs. The man of faith looks within and acts. The doubter seeks comfort. The man of faith seeks the next step. Which are you becoming? Do not mistake this for arrogance. The man of faith is humble, but not hesitant. He knows his power was given to him to be used, not buried. He knows he does not know everything, but he begins with what he does know. He knows the way will become clear only after he moves. And so he moves again and again until the path unfolds. And what of failure? What of the inevitable setbacks? These are not confirmations of doubt. They are confirmations of commitment. Every obstacle is permission to grow. Every delay is a test of your resolve. The world is not waiting to give you what you want. It is waiting to see if you truly want it. Only when your will proves stronger than your past will the new life begin to yield. So begin. Begin now. Do not consult your feelings. They are echoes of your previous rhythm. You are building a new one. You are becoming a new man. One who does not listen to every thought but gives thought its marching orders. One who chooses what to believe, not by emotion, but by decision. The voice of doubt will return. Let it come. But do not answer it with silence. Answer it with declaration. Let it speak and then speak louder. Let it whisper and then shout truth. You will find in time that its voice grows faint, that its power depends entirely on your attention, that it only survives in the absence of belief. And when you notice this shift, when you see yourself choosing belief by reflex, when you move without asking for assurance, when you declare your purpose without apology, then you will know that the voice of doubt has been evicted. It may knock, it may rattle the gates, but it no longer rules the kingdom of your mind. Faith is not a mystery. It is not a feeling that descends upon the fortunate few, nor a secret gift handed to the select. Faith is a state of mind, and like all states of mind, it can be created, strengthened, and made permanent through the application of definite means. Faith is not born, it is built. It is shaped by repetition, fed by emotion, and solidified by decision. And let this be clear, where faith reigns, doubt cannot exist. You have been taught to believe that faith is either something you have or something you do not, that it either lives in your chest or it does not. But I tell you now, that is false. That is the story told by drifters who wish to excuse their inaction. Faith is not found. It is constructed. It is cultivated like a garden, and the hands that build it are your own. The primary tool for this construction is autosuggestion. Autosuggestion is the act of giving direct commands to your subconscious mind. It is not wishful thinking. It is not idle hope. It is deliberate repetition of thought, fused with feeling, delivered with absolute authority. Every man who has built great faith has done so by commanding his mind, not by waiting for inspiration to strike. Do you want to build faith? Then write your definite chief aim. Not vaguely, not someday, not as a fantasy. Write it as a decree. State what you intend to achieve, by what means, and by what date. Make it so clear that no part of your mind can misunderstand. And then read it aloud. Read it every morning. Read it every night. Look yourself in the eye when you read it. Say it like you mean it. Say it until the words feel like fire in your chest. Let your imagination paint the outcome. See yourself already in possession of your aim. Smell the victory. Hear the voices of those congratulating you. Walk as though it is already so. This is not madness. This is mastery. The subconscious mind responds not to logic, but to image and emotion. It accepts what is repeated with feeling. You are training it to believe, and belief always precedes reality. Understand this. Faith is not blind. Faith sees what is not yet visible. Faith walks toward what the senses cannot yet confirm. Faith moves before the path is paved. It is the foundation upon which all achievement is built. A man may have great talent, great resources, great ideas, but without faith he hesitates. And hesitation is the graveyard of every dream. Let me tell you of a man who did not hesitate, Charles M. Schwab. He began as a steelworker, a common laborer, but within his mind burned a vision far beyond the walls of the mill. He saw himself not as he was, but as he would be. He declared his aim and repeated it daily. He did not let the opinion of others dilute his inner belief. He learned from Carnegie, applied every principle of faith and initiative, and rose, step by step, to become the president of the largest steel corporation in the world. Was it chance? Was it mere luck? Number. It was faith applied with persistence. It was the deliberate training of his mind to believe in his own power. Schwab made decisions quickly, acted boldly, and never apologized for wanting more. He believed he belonged at the top before anyone else did. That is how faith works. It declares reality before the world agrees. And now I ask you to do the same. Take out a sheet of paper. Write your definite chief aim. Do not write it as a hope. Write it as a commitment. Write it with the fire of decision. Then stand before a mirror and read it aloud. Look yourself in the eye. Say it again, loudly, boldly, every morning, every night. Do not skip a single day. Each repetition is a blow to the fortress of doubt. Each declaration is a brick laid in the foundation of your new life. Do not say, I'll try. Do not say, I hope this works. Say, I will. Say, it is done. Say, my definite chief aim is my only master. When your mind hears this command again and again, it will obey. That is the law of autosuggestion. That is the path to unshakable faith. You must treat this as sacred, as non-negotiable, as your private ceremony of power. Just as the body must be trained to grow stronger, the mind must be trained to believe. Faith is a muscle, and repetition is the exercise that builds it. Speak your aim with the conviction of a general before battle. Speak it as though the whole world is listening and will rearrange itself to make it so. And mark this truth well. Doubt cannot exist where faith is consistently practiced. The two cannot live in the same house. One must drive the other out. If you commit yourself to the daily practice of autosuggestion, if you hold your aim before your mind like a blazing torch, if you refuse to let the voice of fear speak unchallenged, you will suffocate doubt. You will build belief so strong that no setback, no criticism, no delay can destroy it. You will walk with the posture of one who knows. You will decide without asking for permission. You will persist where others fold. You will no longer debate whether you deserve success. You will demand it. And you will act accordingly. That is the fruit of faith cultivated with discipline. Now let us speak the affirmation that must now become your mental code. My definite chief aim is my only master. I repeat it. I believe it. I act upon it. I will not stop until it is done. Let that sentence be your battle cry. Speak it to the mirror. Speak it when you rise. Speak it before you sleep. Speak it when you are tempted to doubt. Speak it when you succeed, and speak it when you fail. You are no longer waiting for belief. You are building it. The man of faith does not need applause. He does not require perfect conditions. He acts because his command has been issued, and now he must obey. He has aligned his mind, his will, and his body with one aim, and nothing else is permitted to occupy his attention. You must become that man. Let no day pass without this sacred practice. Let no moment of doubt go unchallenged. Let no weakness of emotion determine your movement. You are now under orders from your purpose, and faith is the soldier that will carry you to victory. Begin now. Begin with fire. Begin with voice. Begin with the decision to believe in the life you were born to create. The world has no say in the matter. Your past has no say in the matter. Only your voice matters now. And what you repeat shall be done. Decision is the sword that kills hesitation. It does not ask for permission. It does not wait for consensus. It cuts through the noise, silences the voice of doubt, and demands forward motion. In all my years of studying the most successful men America has produced, I found one trait that stood above talent, above education, above luck: the ability to make clear decisions quickly and to stand by them with unshakable resolve. In Think and Grow Rich, I wrote that men who succeed reach decisions promptly and change them slowly, if ever. Those who fail reach decisions slowly and change them often and quickly. Why? Because hesitation is the death of all enterprise. The man who cannot decide is the man who has surrendered his own will. He waits to be told, to be assured, to be convinced, and in the waiting, life passes him by. Hesitation is a disease of the mind. It spreads through indecision, infects the imagination, and paralyzes action. It is the evidence of a drifting soul. A man who hesitates has no center. He does not stand, he sways. He does not command, he consults. He does not move, he waits. And every moment of hesitation strengthens the voice of doubt until it no longer whispers but shouts. You do not overcome this voice by thinking more. You do not out-argue it. You do not reason it into submission. You kill it. You kill it by deciding. You kill it by acting before you feel ready. You kill it by taking one step toward your definite chief aim and refusing to step back. Decision is the antidote to doubt. Action is the death of fear. Look to the example of Henry Ford. When he made the decision to create an engine with all 8 cylinders cast in one block, his engineers told him it could not be done. They said it was impossible. They showed him data. They gave him every reason to abandon the goal. But Ford had made a decision, and he said, "Produce it anyway, not once, but again and again." Month after month, he commanded them to continue until the impossible became real. Ford did not debate with fear. He did not allow failure to speak louder than his choice. He understood a principle that most men never grasp. Decision is power. It is not perfect conditions that build achievement, it is the refusal to wait for them. Once the decision is made, the mind aligns, the will strengthens, the body moves, the universe bends. You must become a man of decision, not someday, not when it feels right. Now decide that you will become the man who lives by the power of his own choice. Decide that hesitation no longer serves you. Decide that every step you take will be a step toward the life you were born to build. And from this moment forward, never allow your mind to indulge the phrase, "What if I fail?" Replace it with, "What if I never try?" You see, doubt cannot survive where decision is made definite. The voice of doubt feeds on delay. It multiplies in the pause between thought and action. Kill the pause, and you kill the voice. The man who acts before fear can speak becomes unstoppable. He does not wait for perfect plans. He builds them as he moves. He does not seek assurance. He becomes assurance through his own movement. Most men think themselves into failure. They analyze, hesitate, and stall until the door of opportunity closes. They mistake thought for progress. But the wise man thinks, then decides, then acts. He does not repeat the cycle. He moves in one direction only, forward. And that forward movement creates the very confidence others are waiting for before they begin. Do you want to kill doubt? Then stop asking if you're ready. Stop asking for signs. Stop surveying others to confirm what your heart already knows. Decide. Decide now. Decide that your chief aim is not a hope. It is a requirement. Decide that your faith will not waver. Decide that your voice shall speak louder than every whisper of fear, every criticism, every imagined obstacle. Say it aloud and let it shape your identity. I'm the type of person who decides quickly and stands firm. I'm the type of person who does not wait. I begin. I'm the type of person who kills fear by action. I'm the type of person who builds confidence through movement. I'm the type of person who chooses purpose over comfort. These are not mere words. They are weapons. Each one is a blow to the voice of doubt. Each one is a command to your subconscious. Each one reshapes your image of self, not as a hesitant observer, but as a determined builder of destiny. You have been told to be careful. You have been taught to wait for the right time. But let me speak plainly. The right time never arrives for the man who waits. It only appears to the man who moves. Action creates readiness. Decision creates momentum, and momentum destroys fear. From this moment, treat every hesitation as an enemy. Attack it with action. Do not ponder for days what can be done in minutes. Do not second-guess what your inner voice has already confirmed. Trust that decision backed by purpose is always right, even if the result is unexpected. Every step taken in faith sharpens your vision. Every bold move strengthens your command over self. Do not fear mistakes, fear stagnation. Do not fear failure, fear never beginning. Every great triumph was once an uncertain leap. Every leader once stood where you now stand, at the edge of the unknown, faced with the choice to act or to wait. And those who became great were those who decided to leap. You must now become one of them. Kill the voice by refusing to serve it. Decide before it speaks. Move while it waits. Starve it of the delay it needs to grow, and soon it will be silent. Let these words become your internal law. I do not delay. I do not hesitate. I decide. I act. I conquer. Repeat this when the old rhythm of hesitation tries to return. Speak it when fear creeps in. Say it when you feel weak, and you will find your strength. Decision is the root of all achievement. The man who decides is the man who leads his family, his enterprise, his own destiny. Now write your decision. Make it final. Speak it aloud. Then take action this very hour that aligns with it. Do not end this day without movement. Begin the habit of immediate action, and doubt will die from lack of breath. The mind, like the body, was made to obey. It will serve the master who feeds it with direction. But where there is no master, where there is no definite command, the mind wanders. It drifts. It scatters. It reacts to every noise, every suggestion, every shadow of fear. And a drifting mind is the playground of doubt. Controlled attention is the law that restores dominion over thought. Controlled attention is the deliberate practice of choosing what to think about and refusing all intrusions. It is the command to your mind that says, "This is what we dwell upon. This is the object of our thought. Nothing else is permitted here." It is not a passive act. It is not vague wishing. It is mental mastery. And the man who develops it soon discovers that his thoughts are not accidents, but tools, not distractions, but weapons. Look to the example of John D. Rockefeller. He was a man of immense fortune and even greater inner discipline. While others panicked at the whispers of collapse, while newspapers screamed and critics swarmed, Rockefeller sat still. His calm was not the result of ignorance, but of control. He had trained his mind to remain fixed on one thing, his objective. He let no man's opinion and no market's noise determine his thought. That is power. Power is not found in force. It is found in focus. The average man leaks energy with every passing minute. Scattered thoughts, trivial concerns, imagined problems. He allows news, gossip, and fear to invade his inner world. And so he is drained, not by work, but by worry, not by effort, but by distraction. The man of controlled attention, however, does not allow his thought to be stolen. He guards it. He aims it. Every thought you entertain costs energy. Every fear you dwell upon feeds the rhythm of weakness. And every time you allow your mind to wander aimlessly, you make yourself vulnerable to the old habits of doubt. Your attention is a currency, and you must invest it only where there is return, on your definite chief aim, on your identity as a builder, on your next step, nowhere else. You have already learned that the subconscious mind responds to repetition, but what is repeated? That which is focused upon. The subconscious amplifies what is given sustained attention, whether belief or fear, vision or hesitation, truth or lie. If you allow your mind to dwell upon defeat, your subconscious will magnify it. If you fix your mind upon your purpose, your subconscious will mobilize every faculty to bring it forth. So the question is not, will I be influenced? The question is, what have I chosen to influence me? You cannot live in neutral. You are either programming your mind or it is being programmed for you. You are either the master of your attention or the slave of your surroundings. Controlled attention demands that you select your thoughts like a commander selecting his weapons. It is not enough to reject fear. You must install faith. It is not enough to silence doubt. You must speak purpose. Autosuggestion is no longer simply a ritual. It becomes your filter. It becomes your discipline of thought. You must begin each day by placing your definite chief aim before you like a map. Speak it aloud. Read it with emotion. Picture it with clarity. Then determine. This is what I think about today. This is what I solve. This is what I move toward. When worry arises, dismiss it. When fear whispers, speak louder. When distraction appears, return to your aim, 10,000 times a day if needed. You may ask, but what of the world? What of its demands? The world may demand your labor, your words, your time, but it cannot touch your attention unless you give it freely. And I urge you never to give it cheaply. It is your crown. Protect it. No man can steal it without your consent. Every time you entertain doubt, you invite it to stay. You are not a victim of these thoughts. You are their host. You can no longer pretend they simply arrive. They stay because you listen. They grow because you feed them. Controlled attention means eviction. When a thought weakens your spirit, it must be cast out, not analyzed, not explored, dismissed. There is a stillness within every man, a place beyond noise, beyond opinion, beyond confusion. It is there that your definite purpose speaks most clearly. But to reach it, you must become quiet, not passive, but silent. You must turn away from the outer clamor and listen for the one voice that has always spoken with certainty, your own. That inner silence is not emptiness. It is power without sound. It is clarity without volume. It is there that your next decision is formed. It is there that faith renews. It is there that you remember who you are and what you are building. You do not find this silence in idleness. You find it through focus, through repeated return to your chief aim. Understand this: the man who masters his attention masters his destiny. He is unmoved by trends. He is untouched by critics. He does not rise and fall with the opinions of others. His eye is on the summit, and every thought is a step toward it. He lives with one question only: does this thought serve my purpose? If it does, he keeps it. If it does not, he removes it. That is mental self-respect. You must begin to practice this discipline now. Write your definite chief aim on a card. Keep it with you. Read it when you rise, when you eat, when you walk. Say it aloud when you are tempted to drift. Make it your mental anchor. Every other thought must bow before it. Every emotion must be judged by it. Every word you speak must align with it. You will fail at times. The mind will wander. Distraction will call. Doubt will tap at the door. But return. Return again and again. Repetition is not weakness. It is the method of mastery. Controlled attention is not about never wavering. It is about returning faster, with more certainty, until wavering becomes rare. In time, you will notice a change. You will see that your thoughts begin to align naturally, that your inner voice speaks with more clarity, that fear no longer enters uninvited, that your mind, once a battlefield, has become a tool. Then, and only then, can you say, I am the master of my mind. Now do this. Remove all inputs that do not serve your purpose. Eliminate noise. Choose the thoughts you will allow into your mental world. Repeat your chief aim aloud with intensity, at least twice daily. Visualize its achievement with emotion, focus, and clarity. Dismiss every thought that does not serve your purpose immediately. Let these words become your mental command. I choose my thoughts with precision. I give my attention only to what builds me. I guard my mind like a treasure vault. I fix my focus on my purpose, and I permit no intruder. I am the master of my attention. You were never meant to live at the mercy of the world. You were made to direct your own life, and that direction begins with where you place your thought. The voice of doubt cannot live where focus is fierce. The power of your mind is not in its speed, but in its direction. Take the reins. Choose the thought. Control the attention, and you will control the outcome. If you have listened this far, you are no longer a man lost in drifting. You are a builder, standing before the ruins of an old identity, holding the tools of a new one. And now comes the most sacred labor, the rebuilding of your self-image, the foundation upon which every future success must rest. You will not build towers of wealth or freedom or influence unless the man within first stands tall in his own sight. Confidence is not arrogance. Confidence is not noise. It is not the loud declaration of ego, nor is it the costume of superiority. Confidence is trust. Trust in one's ability to take action under uncertainty. Trust in one's mind to choose, to adapt, to persist. Trust in one's voice to speak with conviction. Confidence does not shout. It moves. And the man who possesses it need not convince anyone. His decisions do all the speaking. Many men believe they lack confidence because they do not feel it. But confidence is not a feeling. It is a decision. It is not something you find. It is something you do. The moment you take action without waiting to feel ready, you have begun to build it. Every step taken in spite of fear becomes a brick in the structure of certainty. And just like doubt, confidence is built by repetition. Look to the example of Abraham Lincoln, a man who, by all outer measures, should have accepted defeat. He lost election after election. He faced public ridicule. He buried the woman he loved. He was called unfit, unqualified, even a failure. He endured bankruptcy, depression, and the venom of opponents who mocked his voice, his face, and his convictions. But he did not quit, because within him lived a quiet belief that his cause was just, that his purpose was right, and that his effort would not be in vain. Lincoln's self-confidence was not loud. It was not boastful. It was carved in silence, tested in failure, and proven by persistence. That is the kind of confidence you must now build. Not one that swells when praised, but one that grows when challenged. A confidence that is not dependent on others' validation, but is rooted in your own decision to move forward no matter what. To build this, you must embrace a new code. You must reprogram the language of your mind. There is no more room for "I can't," "I'm not sure," or "I hope." These are not the words of a builder. These are the echoes of the defeated. From this day forward, you speak only one phrase in response to your aim: "I will." Let me give you the formula that builds this power. Speak it aloud. Inscribe it upon your inner wall. It is called the self-confidence formula. I know that I have the ability to achieve the object of my definite purpose in life. Therefore, I demand of myself persistent, continuous action toward its attainment, and I here and now promise to render such action. This formula is not merely to be read. It is to be repeated morning and night until it becomes your inner voice. It is the sharpening of your blade. It is the planting of your identity. With each repetition, you are cutting away the old rhythm of hesitation and installing the rhythm of courage. Confidence is not built in a day. It is built in the daily discipline of self-belief. Just as the body grows stronger with repeated effort, so the mind grows more certain with every act of intentional thought. Do not wait to feel bold. Speak boldly, act boldly, and boldness will meet you in the doing. This is not about pretending. This is about programming. Every time you speak belief, you reinforce it. Every time you choose action over analysis, you confirm your power. You are not lying to yourself. You are reintroducing yourself to who you truly are beneath the layers of learned doubt. You must be ruthless with your language. No longer say, "I'm trying." Say, "I am doing." No longer say, "I'll see." Say, "I will see it through." Speak with finality. Act with finality. Live with finality. The man who is certain in his purpose will gather confidence like a magnet draws iron. It is attracted to those who declare themselves without apology. You may feel unworthy. You may recall past failures. You may still hear the echoes of doubt. Let them echo. You need not silence them all at once. You need only speak louder. Let the voice of belief outshout the memory of fear. Each day you choose to trust your action over your anxiety. The voice of doubt fades further into the past where it belongs. There is no man on earth who is born with unshakable confidence. Every man you admire built his through decision, through repetition, through movement. Do not envy the confident man, become him. Not by wishing, but by doing what he did, by facing the uncertain moment and choosing to act. Do not measure yourself by yesterday's mistakes. That man is gone. You are not rebuilding what was. You are building what must be. You are not recovering old confidence. You are installing new certainty. And every day you act, you are laying stone upon stone, creating the unshakable tower of a man who knows who he is. Repeat this now. Let it be your affirmation of inner strength. I trust myself. I do not ask for permission. I do not wait to feel ready. I act with boldness because I have commanded my mind to believe. Say it again. Say it when you rise. Say it when you falter. Say it when you succeed. Let these words become your armor. Let them wrap your mind in steel. Let them be the sound that drowns out every doubt, every delay, every false limitation. Confidence is not the absence of fear. It is the presence of action. It is what you do in the face of uncertainty. It is what you say to yourself when no one else believes. It is the decision to speak with clarity, to move with purpose, and to never again consult fear for direction. Begin now. Take one step in faith. Speak one affirmation in power. Write one sentence that declares who you are becoming. And do it again tomorrow and again until the man in the mirror no longer needs convincing because he has become convinced. You do not need the world's approval. You do not need your past to confirm your future. You need only decide, speak, and act. Confidence will be your reward, not as a feeling, but as a new foundation from which you will build everything else.